microphones? Ready? All right, we will call the open forum work session to order. Julie, has anyone signed up to speak for open forum?
No one has signed up.
All right, thank you. We'll move on then to Nicole Edwards, District Registered Nurse.
Yes, good evening. I am here to present. Julie, do you have the? Thank you. Give my health services annual indicator report here this evening to you guys. So Julie's just gonna pull my slide up so you all can see it. All right. So I'll start off by how does health services connect to our strategic directions? School health services plays an integral role in the health of students by addressing social determinants of health, provides essential care, and helps to maintain the health and well-being of children, which assists in facilitating optimal development and increasing support for academic success. So what are school health services? School health services are the healthcare supports provided to students during the school day so they can be safe, healthy, and ready to learn. Health services include nurses do health screenings, vision and hearing screenings annually, medication management, administering meds throughout the days, records and tracking, keeping track of student health records and immunizations. We do have state required immunizations. Individualized health plans. We do collaborative planning with families, staff, teachers, and providers. Disease prevention, monitor and prevent spread of diseases. Health education, nurses educate to students and on prevention efforts. Provide chronic care such as managing asthma, diabetes, and seizures, and first aid and emergency services. The impact health services has on students, providing safe participation in school for medically complex students, improved attendance and reduced early dismissals, faster emergency response across buildings, better management of mental health and chronic illness, and strong collaboration with families and healthcare providers. So we currently have 11 health service positions. We have 6 registered nurses, 4 LPNs, and 1 registered licensed school nurse. At the Grand Rapids High School, we have Caitlin Reuter, the middle school, Donna Kurt, Quest Katie Hansen, early childhood special education, Jenny Birkland, Big Fork Schools, Kimberly Powell, Cohasset Elementary, we have Angela Webb and Paula Winker. They're both half-time nurses. East Elementary, Leanne Scholl, West Elementary, Tracy Lessman, and we do provide contract services to St. Joe's School. Their nurse is Kathy Erickson, and then me serving as the LSN. Total students impacted by the health department as of April 10th is 3,865. The population breakdown includes homeschool population, ALC, Itascan Education Center, early childhood programs, St. Joe's, Lighthouse Christian Academy, Quest Transition Program, and GRAVA, which is the virtual academy program. So managing the daily health needs of students. So I broke it down by school. So the number of health office visits as of April 21st, Big Fork Elementary serving 259 students, Big Fork Secondary 180, Grand Rapids High School 7,681 health office visits, the middle school 6,913, Cohasset Elementary 3,787, East Elementary 8,526, and West Elementary 3,501, with a total health office visits combined of 30,847. As I mentioned earlier, nurses manage chronic health conditions, common conditions tracked, asthma totaling 37.9%, Allergies, that includes food, medications, 35.6%, diabetes, 12.4%, and seizure disorders, 14.1%. Health screenings and referrals. So we do vision and hearing screenings on all grades at the elementary levels, 7th grade and then 9th grade, and students on an IEP, an individualized education plan. Vision screenings we completed this year totaled 2019. Of those, 216 were referred to eye care providers. And then to note, the Lions Club does come in annually and assist us with those vision screenings, which is great. I don't think we could do it without them. So thank you to the Lions Club. We also provide hearing screenings. Total this year was 2,062 screenings performed, and of those, 181 were referred for follow-up to our school audiologist or their primary care provider. And how our health service is funded. Nursing expenses are coded general fund and special education fund depending on their task. So costs are allocated based on the complete monthly time. Our program successes this year include interdisciplinary collaboration. Nurses assist one another with duties and work closely with counselors, teachers, paras to ensure student health and safety. Community collaboration, partnerships such as with the Lions Club, Itasca County, they come in and provide immunization clinics during the fall for influenza. Campus North, we have worked with them. Their nursing students have come in to do a little job shadowing experience with our nurses, as well as assist us with completing those hearing screenings. And then Grand Itasca, we do contract with them to one of their physicians for medical purposes and to help enforce strategic community directions. And breakthroughs, identifying root causes for frequent visits and decreasing them helps keep students in class, making significant program success. And teamwork, effective student care depends on teamwork across nurses, school staff, families, and community providers. And it helps to ensure that no students fall through the cracks. Key challenges, broad scope of student health needs, so increase in students requiring support for chronic disease management, that's district-wide. Staffing challenges, such as lack of substitute nurses, and a primary contributing factor seems to be non-competitive compensation compared to other healthcare settings. Mental health, we're seeing a notable increase in mental health needs of the student population, anxiety, depression, and significant responsibilities. So nurses provide just more than the basic first aid. It involves complex triaging and efficient time management, and the emotional toll. So managing a broad range of student issues is mentally and emotionally taxing. So our focus for the future, staffing and coverage, hopes to strengthen substitute coverage to ensure consistent care support across the schools, competitive retention, try to help improve substitution retention through competitive pay, and partnerships, continue building strong school family healthcare partnerships in our community and within, and care team coordination, continue building solid interdisciplinary collaboration within the schools. And just something to be aware about coming down the pike, beginning next school year, we have a new requirement to meet, and that goes into place, like I said, for next year, but it's the CERP, which stands for Cardiac Emergency Response Plan. Every school is going to be responsible for having a cardiac emergency response plan in place. This was recently passed into legislation this past year. And you may ask what that is, and it's a written document that establishes specific steps to reduce death from cardiac arrest in a specific setting, such as a school. The mandatory requirements for that include establishing a cardiac emergency response team. We currently are offering CPR classes across all schools. We have 3 classes being offered this month. We are required that at least 5 staff members or 10% of overall staff should be certified and AED trained at each school. So we are trying to plan and prepare as best we can for that. Provide AED placement on school grounds. All of our schools already do have AED placement. And then our activities office does as well for coaches to check out AEDs and ensure routine maintenance of AEDs. We currently do that on a monthly basis. All nurses at the schools are required to do routine maintenance of their AEDs. And we do have a monthly tracking log for those. And then we will need to coordinate with local emergency medical service providers what our plan is going to be and conduct annual cardiac emergency response drills at each of the schools. And then annual school board review and evaluation. In summary, ISD 318 school nurses are a tiny but mighty team with an impactful mission, keeping students healthy, safe, and ready to learn every single day. I know I've said it before and I'll say it again. I feel our school district is very lucky to have the nurses we have working for us, and it's a privilege to work alongside them. And then to conclude too, this week is National Nurses Week, and Wednesday is National School Nurse Day. So if you do see one of our nurses, please give them a well-deserved shout out. And then time for questions. So I will try to answer any questions that come my way.
All right, any questions?
Mr. Chair? Nicole, thank you. Great report. I note that there are a number of students, a high proportion of students from East Elementary. Seems to be considerably higher than other schools.
Right.
Any thoughts on that?
We do seem to have a higher population of chronic illnesses at that school this year. And what I mean by that is asthma, diabetic, seizure students.
Okay.
So that all plays a role in those numbers on an annual basis. But yes, it's a very busy school. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Back at one of the earlier slides, there was 3,000 some impacts by the Department of Health, and homeschooling, private schooling, like is that someplace we take care of, or is that just they touch it within our district?
So health services is involved with homeschooling in the sense that we do health evaluation assessments to students who are on an IEP. And that's something Jenny Berkland covers.
And so there was a couple other private academies on there. Do we serve them as well in that same capacity? Or is that similar to St. Joe's where they pay us for some of those services?
More a contract with St. Joe's. I don't believe we have a standing contract with the Lighthouse Christian Academy necessarily. We have assisted them in the past with advice and completing vision and hearing screenings, letting them borrow our audiometers. So more to that extent.
I was just curious because it seems like some of our private schools were paying for stuff and some of them weren't. So I was just
Yeah,
trying
sure.
to measure where that was and why.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Anything else?
I guess I had one quick one. You mentioned the lines assist in some of the vision screenings there. Do they do that in every building at all our facilities then?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, they have a spot screener, which is an amazing little machine that reads a student's vision within seconds and lets them know what's going on. So with that student's vision, it's convenient for nonverbal kids because if they can't read the eye chart, or kids that don't know their alphabet and letters yet. So it's pretty
Well, yeah,
great.
thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Nicole.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Happy National Nurses Week.
Yes. If you see one. Good job. All right. Well, we'll take a break and we'll plan to come back in at 6:30.
Thanks. It's been a long day, but good. No, I went down last night.
Were you
Glad-
there for the vote?
Sometimes you drive and you go to the meetings and it wasn't worth it, and today it was the compensatory task force meeting, and there were some things that needed to be said that I got a chance to say.
Ready, Julie? All right, I'll call this meeting of the Grand Rapids School Board to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Ashley.
Moved by Ashley,
Second, David.
second by David. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The agenda is approved. The next item on the agenda is a principal report from the Big Fork Schools, Mr. Ken DeCoster.
Good evening. Every day in a school during the school year is busy, but spring brings on like a new level of busy. And so I just wanted to share a few things with you that we've got going in Big Fork this spring. We're starting a new month, our last month of the school year, but in April, of course, we kicked off MCA testing and those assessments. In Big Fork, we kicked that season off, if you will, with an assembly. I talked with all of our students that are of age to take the MCAs. And then our high school staff treated our high school students to pancake breakfasts before the math MCAs and again before the reading MCAs. We still are running some makeup tests and, of course, testing for science as well. So that in itself brings some busyness, but along with that, there are a lot of kind of annual year-end things that are really positive ways to round out the year. A couple weeks ago, we had our National Honor Society ceremony. We were able to induct 5 new people. That's only for juniors and seniors. We were able to induct 5 new members into the National Honor Society in Big Fork, and that was just it's always a really nice evening to be able to salute some students for their hard work. Last Wednesday, we had our band and choir concert. It was definitely nice to hear them play. The Edge Center did a rough head count. I would say it was a little over half full. So a very nice crowd for our up and coming band program and band and choir program. And it was, it's neat to listen to the evolution of the improvement there with both of those groups. Our elementary concert will be 1:30 on May 12th. If any of you are around, it'd be great to have you there as well. This Wednesday evening, we'll have another really nice event, and that's what we call our senior reception. This is a night where we really encourage all of our seniors to attend. We generally get very good attendance from our seniors. We salute each of them in some way, shape, or form, announcing who they are, what they plan to do after graduation, whether it be university, college, workforce, whatever it might be, recognizing them in that way. That's also the night that we recognize all of our scholarship winners, and our Big Fork students have been quite successful in securing scholarships in past years, and I would anticipate the same kind of success this year. And it's just a very positive night, and again, you get to really reward some people and acknowledge some of our older students for some really hard work.
Ken, can you say that date one more time for your scholarship night?
The scholarship night is 2 nights from now. It's Wednesday night, so what's that, the 6th? So that's short notice. We also do have our STEM symposium on May 28th. That starts in the afternoon and goes just after school a little bit, but that's our science fair night that has evolved a little bit into more of a STEM symposium where our math and science teachers work together to make sure that there are components of both math and science woven into those projects. We also have spring sports underway, and with the weather we've been having, it's been, all springs are difficult to get those scheduled events in. When I came in, I heard somebody talking about a junior high track meet, and I saw snowflakes in the air on the way in too, so it's chilly out there, but we're getting them in. One of the things that that I did want to note tonight and share with you, because it definitely made a difference when it was shared with me, is right now we've got golf track, and we've got golf and track going on. Those are annual sports, but we've also got junior high baseball going on for the first time in Big Fork. And I had a parent from that I know personally, but it was from an opposing team that they played last week, reach out to me and just share how impressed she was with our Big Fork baseball team. I haven't even had a chance to talk to the coach about it yet or even say anything to the players, but I did get a chance to talk to our activities director about it today. But this parent reached out and just said, got a chance to watch my son play against Big Fork tonight. Her son's team won, but she said, I was so impressed with how well-mannered and the sportsmanship and the positivity coming from your Big Fork kids. Probably shouldn't be saying this out loud, but she said, I kind of found myself secretly cheering for them at times just because of how they were keeping each other up and they were staying positive, and was just really impressed with their sportsmanship. For me, for principal, for superintendent, for board members, we get wrapped up a lot of times in the problem-solving things of when things aren't going so well. It was really nice to get unsolicited feedback about how well things were going as well. And so I just, it's our first year with baseball. Really excited about that. It's an exciting opportunity to offer for our students, and they've obviously been rising to the occasion. So very, very proud of that, and wanted to share that with you so you could feel some of that pride as well. And then lastly, before I ask for questions, it's Teacher Appreciation Week. Like Nicole talked about our nurses, we've got a great nursing team. We've got great teaching teams in all of our buildings. Hats go off to them every day, and I just want to acknowledge them while I have the podium. But so thanks to all of them. But any questions for me?
Any questions?
What time is your scholarship?
7 o'clock.
Thank you.
I'll be in the front row taking pictures.
I guess one kind of question, because I know the spring extracurricular activities have really ramped up there this year. It seemed like, if I remember, we had a lot more golf participants this year also.
High golf numbers, yes.
Yeah, just high numbers overall. Can you, I know earlier in the year talking a little bit with what we were seeing down here in high school, and one of the principals commented to me that the disciplinary incidents they've had in school had reduced significantly with the successful seasons, right? And they could see that carry into the classroom. Can you correlate? Can you see any of that right now by chance? Or I mean, it's kind of asking a lot right there.
No, it's a great question. Can I tell you exactly the number of our office referrals right now? No, I can't. Can I tell you though that I feel less behind than I normally am on those? Yeah, I'm not as behind on those. And I would also say, so I would to answer your question, Tom, I'd say yes, I do think there's a correlation. And I would say that not just based on numbers, but there's a certain amount that you just have to take kind of from the vibe, right? And I think while there's always things that can be better and there's always things you work on to fix, you always strive for more improvement and for, we have a very active positive behavior team. Kids are getting drawn for Howell tickets every Friday by our counselor, and they're coming down for a picture, and we've got a lot of really good things going on. You still have things you need to work on and fix, but the vibe overall, I would say, has been very good. And if that's leading to greater numbers in extracurriculars, fantastic. If the greater number in extracurriculars are leading to less numbers in those office referrals or those behavioral incidences, I'll take that too, but I think the two definitely correlate.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions? No. Thanks, Ken.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
You as well. All right, the next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the April 20th, 26th school board meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Ashley.
Moved by Ashley,
Second, David.
second by David. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The minutes of the April 20th school board meeting are approved. The next item is to approve the following retirement, and in Casey's absence, I'll recognize that teacher Eric Samala is retiring after 15 years of service, and her recommendation is approval. Do I have a motion?
So moved with a thanks and appreciation.
Moved by David,
Second by Mark.
second by Mark. Any discussion? Also note of thanks to Eric for his 15 years. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Retirement is approved. Next item is to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Melissa, second by Mark. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. The next item is the financial report from Alex Kaiser. Alex? Just information only, okay? Do I have a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Moved by Ashley, second.
Second by Melissa.
Second by Melissa. Any discussion?
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Financial report is approved. The next item is to approve the revised operational plan, Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You had a chance to look at this last meeting. Again, this was developed, it started 4 years ago when we, with community feedback, we synthesized that into our strategic directions, developed an operational plan, worked that plan, revised. This was revised last in November of 2024. The strategy team has been setting goals in keeping with this operational plan, and we made some revisions in this one in front of you. Yeah, and then since working through that, have put goals together to towards the achievement of these objectives. So I would recommend approval and entertain any questions.
All right, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve by Mark.
Motion to approve by Mark, second.
Second, Melissa.
Second by Melissa. Any discussion?
Thank you for leading this, Matt.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about at the strategy team level is, you know, I've been part of many plans like this, and a lot of times they end up as coffee coasters or dust gathering things, and we have evidence to support that the plan we had last time we achieved and made improvements on. We have evidence and data to support that, and I'm confident, again, because this is something that is the first thing on every strategy team agenda, is to look at how we're doing on goals, and I think we have an even better system moving forward for measuring our goals, and I'll bring those to you after we review those Wednesday this week. So I'll bring those goals to you too to take a look at.
Matt, I just wanted to call out the fact that as I read through the objectives, what I appreciate about our plan here is that there's a healthy balance of specific objectives that we're looking to do, balanced with more broad direction. Because I think what's important is that we don't pigeonhole ourselves into too many specific things, but also give ourselves the latitude to adjust and have a plan that, you know, brings the district forward. So I just appreciate the balance as a one strategy practitioner to another. Any other discussion?
I guess I had one question. Some of the objectives were highlighted a little different color and some were not. Is that just?
I don't know why that is. I was just making a note here. I'm like, I gotta talk to Julie, and we gotta remember to. So
I'm like, am I supposed to be looking at something different on this?
Yeah, I think originally, Tom, I think originally they were highlighted if there were going to be some language changes or revisions. So I think the ones that weren't highlighted were carryover from last time. But that's not even, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
I didn't know if there was something special.
No.
to note on that or not.
No, there's no significance to that.
Matt, if you'd like, perhaps I can show you how to format those on
Is
a
that right?
non-Macintosh.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
PC.
that'd be super helpful, dude, thank you.
Anytime, just we can
Yeah,
schedule
yeah,
some time.
yeah. Funny guy.
All right, all those in favor of approving the operational plan, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? The revised operational plan is approved. The next item is to accept a second reading and approve the following policies: 410, 503, 515, 530, 615, 701, and 721. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, this is the second reading, so action on these is requested tonight. Our Policy Review Committee has gone through these and recommends them for approval as well. 410 made some changes in language reflective of new Minnesota laws on paid leave. The student attendance revised habitual truant definition. Again, that's reflective of some statutory change. Protection and privacy of pupil records. That was really about immunization. And again, I think I mentioned last time, people like Nicole step into the Policy Review Committee to provide some guidance and feedback if it's relevant to their particular area. So she would have weighed in on 515 and 530. 615, Justin Sundquist, for instance, would have weighed in on any changes that we saw there to revise a policy that is affecting students on IEPs. In this case, alternative MCAs, those have changed, and so this policy reflects that adjustment. And then 6 and 7, or 701 and 721 there, Alex weighed in on those as the business official and recommended that we move forward with the policies as you see in the packet. I'd recommend approval of these.
Move to approve the policies as presented.
Perfect, thank you. Second?
Second by Mark.
Second by Mark. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the approval, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Those 7 policies as presented in the agenda are approved. Thank you. The next item is to receive an update from the Big Fork School Advisory Committee. Kayla.
Good evening. Thank you, Chair Cohen. Thank you, everyone, for having me. My name is Kayla Scribner, and I am chairing the Big Fork School Advisory Committee this year. Excuse me, I'm getting over yet another cold, and my voice is going, so I'm going to do the best I can. But I just wanted to remind the board that this year we went through a strategic planning process when this committee was established, and this year we're focused on the strategic priority of the student experience, the Big Fork school student experience. And so we've had a lot of conversations and work around that. We've been talking in our meetings and also in the forward committee meetings about how to improve this so that it is more that our students are having the same experience that other schools students are having in the area, with access to those classes and sports and extracurriculars. Schools like Grand Rapids and North Home and Nashwauk-Keewatin. So we've been having a lot of conversations about that and some really good work on how can we do a better job of resource sharing. Our school board representatives that have been joining us and Matt have been very helpful, and Ken in thinking of creative ideas and ways we can resource share with curriculum. You know, we've talked about things like advanced classes and specialized coaches and the different sports that are available on the other side of the district that just aren't to Big Fork, and thinking again how we can we've been asking this question for years and years and years since I was in grade school and high school. How can we make things more equitable? I really enjoyed reading the operational plan that was just improved and was excited to see that the first priority is around the strategic direction is around equitable access, because that has been the focus of this committee. How can we have equitable access to education and everything that schools can offer for Big Fork students, like students have in the rest of the district? And so we're talking again about more ways we can do that. And I think there's more momentum and hopefully some concrete action soon on some of those things. We're hoping that this gets reflected in the work of the Forward Committee that you'll hear more about next month. In June, we had 2 advisory committee representatives take part in that work, drive to Grand Rapids for all of those meetings. It was it was time and energy, and we were very grateful to participate because every conversation we had around a table with the rest of the folks that were doing Forward, they were learning things about Big Fork. They had no idea. They had no idea that our school looks the way that it does. And so it was a very important sharing opportunity for us, and just I think education and advocacy, because it was very clear that that the Big Fork just has a lot of work to do yet on what's happening in our building, and continuing to advocate for more for our students, for equitable access for our students, like I've already talked about. The last thing I'll mention is that we have a lot of momentum also around a communication strategy, a communications plan. We've learned in our work this year that communication is very fragmented as it goes out, different messaging to different people. We have a really tight community in Big Fork, you might know that, and a lot of really cool stuff that happens with the community. We just need to do a better job, be more strategic about how we're sharing that, making sure that our champions in the community know about events, like Ken mentioned, our concerts and our ceremonies, and the ways we're celebrating all of our successes. So we're excited to have some support on that starting next month and get going on a communications plan and try to consolidate and streamline some of that. I was also going to invite you to the scholarship ceremony, academic ceremony on Wednesday. I will be there representing the Blandon Foundation and presenting those scholarships. And so if you can come up to the edge and make it, we would greatly appreciate it. Those are all the updates I have right now. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Any questions?
Just want to follow up, and Kayla mentioned the communications work. We actually have engaged with Colin, who helped us on our district communication plan. He's going to be taking a look at Big Fork to help up there, and we'll actually be attending our next Big Fork School Advisory Committee virtually to hear more about, what is it that people specifically are experiencing, what are they looking for, and he'll do an audit and then make some recommendations about how to tie these things together that Kayla was talking about. So I think that'll be a good jumping off point.
Any other questions, comments for Kayla?
Thank you.
Thank you, Kayla.
Thank you.
All right, the next items on the agenda are to approve the contracts for Hill City, Greenway, Deer River, and the Nashua Keewatin schools for leadership of community education. Matt, do you want to take those all in one?
Yeah, so thank you. These 4 contracts are essentially the same. They are contracts whereby these schools are buying community education leadership from the Grand Rapids area schools. So Melanie and Heidi down there provide services to these communities. They each have programmers in their own district that tailor need or identify needs, work locally, but all these districts then participate in one consolidated community education catalog that goes out. It's very comprehensive and it's very professional. You'll notice that some of the contracts, Greenway, Deer River, Nashua in particular, have more history there. That's because that agreement's been in place for a long time. Hill City just started purchasing community ed services from us recently, so that's why there's less price history there. We also, in the past, I'd say tried, piloted with Floodwood to do the same thing. They've decided that they, with their particular geography, situation, that they are going to try to do that in-house. And so after a year of trying it, they've decided to kind of keep that in-house and withdraw from that. But the language in the contract is the same other than increases in the fees. So I would recommend approval.
All right, I would entertain a motion to approve all four together.
So moved, David.
Moved by David,
Second.
Oh,
second by Melissa. Any discussion?
I guess I have a question in regards to, I mean, when I look at the changes, right, since, like you say, the historical there, we're talking about a $2,000, in one example, I'm looking at a $2,000 change in 5 years of services, right? I know our inflation for the rest of our budget has went up significantly in that time period. Do we feel are we structuring this per community members, is it, or
Yeah, so the
outreach?
Yeah, the community education funding works a little bit different. When we're doing budgets in the school, than the rest of the school district, it's based on per pupils. Community education funding is driven by community size, residents. So if you think about the residents of our district, how many residents we have compared to the residents of these other districts, there's a pretty huge disproportion there. So I think that's part of what explains the relativity of those changes.
And I guess that explains maybe the differences between the groups, right, or the individual schools. But I still am a little concerned that we're not properly capturing our cost increase in that time period. Because I know if we were to look at our general budget in that time period, it's probably went up a larger percentage than that. And, I think we ought to start really thinking about what some of our overhead costs are and if we're factoring them properly sometimes in these, but.
I can get more detail on the increases if you'd like. I think, it's important to remember too, community ed is a dedicated restricted fund. So any funds we get in Fund 4 have to stay in Fund 4, can't be used anywhere else. So our community ed budget has run in the black, actually done very, very well. So, but I can get more detail on the rationale for the amounts if you'd like.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, those four contracts are approved. Next, we'll move into board reports. Tom?
Participated in the director negotiations, I think, since our last meeting, and we've got another one coming up here soon. We've had some email exchanges on the bus driver negotiations here, and it looks like, we're making some progress there. Last week I was unable to go up to Big Fork, so missed out on that, but that's what I have.
Okay. Thanks, Tom. Melissa?
yeah, I didn't have anything. I have some coming up this week and next week, but I didn't have anything last week.
David?
Yeah, the endowment committee is finalizing applications, which will be going out very, very shortly. The Boys and Girls Club is, I think I referenced earlier that we're in a period of transition right now and trying to understand how we can deal without a development director on staff, which is really challenging. Had the opportunity, along with Dave, to go to the high school for the awards last week. The high school awards, which is so encouraging to see students that are not typically recognized necessarily for the great work that they do. These are incredible students, but they're not recognized for scholarship necessarily or for athletics, but they're recognized for being just great students. And it's a great thing every month that is organized, and there are about 8 to 10 students that get recognized each month. And it's really a very encouraging and inspiring event. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, David. Ashley?
I was able to go watch the 6th grade as well as the middle school track and field day. Community Ed actually was able to put on the track and field day for the 6th graders. They will have a meet today as well as one on the 13th in Bemidji, and that was pretty awesome to watch. I am not a track and field parent, so I had no idea what was going on the entire time, but all of the kids were amazing. They have that dialed in. They know exactly what they're doing and when they need to do it. Unfortunately, it started to snow on this day of May 4th. As you all know, we live in Minnesota, so that's not anything that's unusual. But it was a wonderful event to be able to watch while I was there. And shout out to one of our teachers, Matt Sandys, because he does so much for this community and for our students, and he's one of those track coaches. So, and then shout out to all of the other track coaches as well that are with our students for our 6th grade students, and then as well as the students themselves at the high school, because they took some time out to help those 6th graders navigate their first track meet. So that is what I was able to participate in so far.
Thank you. Mark?
Along with Tom, I participated in directors' negotiations. That seems to be moving along. David and I participated in kindergarten roundup this week, and that's always a lot of fun. There's from the shy kids that a little worried about coming to kindergarten to the ones that march in and just are just ready to be there right now. It's really a kind of a fun event. The only other thing I had a State High School League 7AA quarterly meeting in Hinckley last week, and that group works primarily with a lot of the tournaments and referees and venues, and we kind of locked in the spring venues, and we're working on the fall stuff already, so that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Sure.
Well,
Can I just
yep.
acknowledge one? So, well, this wasn't a school event, it was a community event. So the chamber had their annual dinner last week, and a shout out to Matt Sandys, who made the awards. Like his classroom made the awards that were given out to the chamber members, which is super fun. And he's partnered with the chamber, and they've done some work with them for little trinkets for people coming into town and stuff. So that's kind of more of a community school connection that I think people don't realize happens. So just a little shout out for that. So
Awesome.
thanks for that reminder.
That's very cool. A couple things for me. Last Wednesday, after the last board meeting, when Jill came in and talked about what was going on at East Rapids and the morphology program, I was able to go and visit Mrs. Jodine's classroom. I'm just going to read what I wrote. It was remarkable. The level of engagement that Miss Jodine has with the students, navigating where each of the student is in their reading journey, is incredible. And the tools and resources are so incredibly different than that of our childhoods. I encourage all members of our board to find some time to go and observe her. I truly believe that I was watching a master at her craft in that classroom. Very well done, Jen, if you watch this, and thank you for what you do. Last Friday, as was mentioned, I joined Clerk Marty at the GRHS Student Awards presentation. Again, great students, great teachers. Hearing the teachers talk about the why behind each student's nomination is just inspiring. And I'd like to specifically recognize Shelley Lindstrom, who you may know as Mama. Her message about her student was inspirational. And then also a shout out to Principal Forbort for running that program that day. Since our last board meeting and has been reported in the media, our district won the 2026 Best Communities for Music Education. And I just couldn't be more proud of our entire district and our community for how music is supported in our area. And then lastly, the final session of Forward happened, and it was incredibly encouraging to see the community just come together and the passion and the discussion and the back and forth. It truly takes a village, and the village has been showing up. That's all I had. Next is the superintendent report. Matt.
Thank you. Chair just mentioned the fourth and final Forward meeting, and I say final a little bit with an asterisk because we know that work's not done. Community engagement work will continue. You'll hear from, I believe, 4 members of the Forward group on June 8th. So looking forward to that. I heard a number of people say it was their favorite one, which, you know, when you facilitate meetings, you don't always know how they're going to land. So that was kind of fun. A couple weeks ago, I attended an Itasca area child care task force meeting hosted at the foundation. There's a group that's been studying child care across the range. They've been really looking at it. They've been looking at it from a real analytical perspective. Actually, the individual that's heading up that work, Dr. Stacy Gilpin, used to be special education director in the co-op. Very, very gifted and analytical. She's perfect for the job. She's really focused on rural communities, and they've really been thinking about this from a 3-stooled type lens where you have providers being involved, you have employers being involved, and then this third leg really is dependent on the community. That might be, it might be a community group that helps to structure or provide financial flow through or oversight. It was very interesting, and also some of the data. The needs in the region are different. If you go farther east, their needs for care are different than here. So we have some slots right now that are open that we, you know, providers aren't filling, but then if you talk about toddler and infants, there's none of that. But if you go to the east, those situations can look different. So there were a number of employers there. They're very interested in being part of a solution. I think one of the things that's different about the dialogue now is that Invest Early, when it was around, was incredible, but it also created conditions where communities expected what they viewed as the school to take care of childcare needs, and it was really never the school on its own. It was the school in partnership with a large grant. It was the schools in partnership with others, and so communities now are really needing to figure this out on their own, and that's where the best, you know, long-term solutions are going to come from. So we still, I think, are in a better position because we have early edge and we have infrastructure and relationships, but there's still work to do there. I also attended a meeting hosted by RAMS that focused on the effects of mining production futures on finances for especially public entities in northeastern Minnesota. And, you know, the news isn't necessarily news if you've been paying attention. You know, production is going down, and even with Mesabi Metallics coming online, that isn't going to save or turn around that trend. One of the things that the individual from IRRR shared was that we have still plenty of ore in the northeastern part of the state, but it's not economical to access. And so with the change in the type of furnaces that are, you know, creating steel, it's really changed the dynamics. So I think it was very good, but I think it really highlights the need to be creative and diversify. We've had prom here in town. Big Fork had a little bit different situation happen with prom, but in both cases, as far as we're aware, they went off without incident. Graduation's coming up, you know, in a month from now. We will be either at or near graduation for both high schools, so that's fun. I also attended the Tech Hub Circle of Care last week, and every time I'm there and hear what's happening in our Tech Hub, I'm just blown away. And the unique experiences that our students are getting, the connections that they're making, the skills they're developing are just incredible. And so I think there's a need now to think about what does that look like as these kids get older. And, you know, David, you know this from Boys and Girls Club, accessing or engaging those senior high kids is sometimes trickier. But they work on everything from drones to music production to business entrepreneurship. They had a Shark Tank thing they did. It's just incredible, the creativity. That's sort of springboarding our elementary Lego robotics teams. We have a couple teams that have come out of there and done very well. So it's a very, very neat program. And if you ever want to see some of that in action, just let me or Julie know and we'll coordinate with Josiah because it's really, really cool. Last strategy team update, I mentioned earlier, we've been really working hard on the operational plan. The other thing that's happening, you know, we kind of think about things at the strategy team. What things are we sort of watching happen and getting reported back on? So one of the things that we're watching is the progress on our math curriculum adoption. And so we've had a team that's been meeting really, really diligently, and I'm really, really proud of the work that they've been doing. They started, you know, the easiest thing is to flip open a catalog and pick a book. And that's the opposite of what they've done and are doing. They stepped back, looked at standards, looked at how the standards have changed. Then they're reviewing curriculum in light of these changes. They've met with vendors numerous times. And they've been really, really committed to a cohesive K-12 curriculum. There was a curriculum that really had some interest at the elementary, and the elementary group said, no, we're not interested in this because they don't have a parallel for our high school colleagues, and so we really are committed to a K-12 continuum. So just really proud of that work, and so that'll continue. You're going to be hearing more about this idea of guaranteed and viable curriculum, and that's really the basis for these decisions. Guaranteed in the sense that we want to have a system where every kid is guaranteed access to the materials, and viable that it's something that we can practically instruct from and instruct through. And so that's foundational, and you'll be hearing more about that as we revise the definitions there. But that will continue to guide our work moving forward, and I think we're setting some really great systems for evaluating curriculum that maybe we haven't had before. The English language arts one was it sort of set the stage for it, but that was fast-tracked because of legislation in the READ Act. And this math one is really the first one where we've had to use all of our muscles to start at step one and move all the way through. And Carol Kopp has done a great job working, you know, through math, even though her primary focus has been language arts. She's been doing a great job working with that math group, and so I'm really, really proud of the work that they've been doing. And then finally, the other thing that we've been, I guess maybe the two things that we've been working on too, is identifying a tool that we can use as we continue to ramp up our walkthrough work. And so walkthroughs are those quick observations. I'll use that word a little bit loosely, but that's when a principal is in a room, could be a peer in a room, looking for very particular teacher behavior, maybe student behavior, documenting, and as we scale that, doing it on a piece of paper with a checklist or even using a Google form isn't the best way to sort of create history and the kind of documentation and data that we need. And so we're looking at a couple different tools that would enable even me from my office to be able to pull up a dashboard of how many walkthroughs have we completed, what are the trends in our schools, that kind of thing. So we have funding for that written into our achievement integration grant, so we have a way to pay for it, which is always good. And then the last thing that we've been really trying to figure out, and we're still kind of wayfinding on this, is training for our staff in classroom management, classroom behavior, trying to find a system that's going to work for us, because if our teachers are needing to deal with behavior in classrooms, that means it's taking away from instruction. And if we come back to, and Kayla identified, if we're talking about an equitable education for all our kids, it starts with having the conditions for learning. And so there isn't a perfect one. We've investigated a number of them. There's nothing that's truly plug and play. And so we're trying to find our way through that. But those are some things that our strategy team has been working on.
All right, any questions for Matt?
I would just say, piggyback on what Ken said too, in addition to Nurse Appreciation Week, it is Teacher Appreciation Week, like you mentioned. And, we really do have an amazing, incredible staff here. You mentioned one of our kind of elite teachers, but we certainly have them all over, and appreciate the work they all do. And going in different above and beyond. Last Friday, I had a chance. We had awards Friday morning. That was great. I had a chance that same morning to be with our football team. And, it's one thing to do X's and O's, but our coaching staff digs into leadership with these young men. They've read a leadership book this year. They're digging in, trying to be, better leaders, not just blocking and tackling. And I think those are the kind of the little things that our teachers and coaches across the board do. And, you mentioned music, Dave, and I think there's just a lot of those things we can point to. It starts with our staff.
Agreed. All right. Upcoming school board committee and meeting dates are posted on each agenda. School board meeting agendas can be found on the district website and on the designated posting site here at the ISD 318 Educational Service Center. Is there any other business to come before the board? Julie, has anyone signed up for public input?
No, they haven't.
All right, thank you. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn, David.
Moved by David, second.
Second by Ashley.
Second by Ashley. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Stand adjourned.